ustedes, amigos, amigas from Ajijic in the lakeside area. And I'm very happy to be doing this interview with Nancy. She is a 22-year resident of Lakeside. Not only that, she's been coming to Mexico and been in Mexico for a long time. And it's very interesting, very interesting. I talked with her on many occasions. We talk about everything under the sun. And I'll tell you how I first met her. I saw her, she dances, and she likes that energy, and she dances at Scallions, and I see her a lot there. And I walked up to her and I asked her, you know, I always see you, but I never talked to you, and I always wanted to meet you. So
Music's too loud.
okay, okay. Here's Nancy.
Well, I've been coming Lakeside since 1994. I first started coming to Mexico in '75. My husband had been coming to Mexico since 1960, and he spoke fluent Spanish. So he always handled all of the negotiations. So my Español es muy feo. But I have built a couple of houses and businesses with Mexican employees, so if we're both looking at the same thing, that we can have a communication. So now I say that I can be misunderstood in two different languages. When I first came here in '94, Ajijic was much different. There was the one street light at Colón in the Carretera.
Wow.
In order to make a phone call, there was a kiosk on the plaza, and you had to go in and they put the phone number you were calling on a piece of paper, and when they connected, they would direct you to a little room, you know, big enough for several people, because a lot of times the Mexicans would be calling to the States to talk to family members, and everybody had to be there, you know. And there were a couple of restaurants. There was the Old Posada. That's a fascinating place in and of itself. When I first got here, they used to have on the wall a framed map, and it showed the lake and Ajijic, and a little bubble, like a cartoon bubble, where they have the words coming out from the pier.
Wow.
And Ajijic was actually founded from across the lake, not from Guadalajara, but from across the lake. This state was called Nueva Avila, and Ajijic on that map was spelled Axixque. Yeah, so that there was the Old Posada, and then there was Bruno's, which is still in existence with the same.
Bruno's restaurant?
Yes, on the Carretera, with
Yeah.
the same ownership. Bruno, who was an artist here, he had that, and they used to have carousel horses as the part of the decorations in there.
Still do, or in the front.
And throughout the little restaurant, and then his daughter Vicky took it over, and now his grandson Kelton
Yes.
does the restaurant. Let's see, Minwa, which is still here, the Chinese restaurant up the hill. That was originally here, and also Donna's Donuts.
Okay.
That's still here, and there was Giovanni's, which is where the Baja Norte is, across from the Oxo now. That was the first place in Mexico where we actually had a steak that you could cut up that was tender. You know, otherwise it was that thin, tough beef steak. Yeah, so...
That was probably what year? You're talking
well,
about?
that was in '94.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we came back '96, and at that point the lake was way out there. So one Christmas I can remember I walked from the lakeshore here with my husband all the way down to San Juan Cosala on the shore. Now you'd be underwater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, It was way, way out there. And in fact, there was right over here on the lake shore between the Malecon and the Nueva Posada, over there was,
Are you talking about the Nuevo Pasado Hotel?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the old one and the new one.
Okay.
On the shore there was a big barge that had been kind of stuck at one time when the lake had receded. And a friend of ours, Roberto Cerda, he had owned the place La Tasca. His family owned the place La Tasca, which was right across the street on the shore from the Nueva Posada. He was a great guitar player and a wonderful family. I think they live down in Manzanillo area right now. But he had set up a restaurant and bar right there in the barge, and we used to do every Sunday morning. My husband and I would play North Indian classical music for the brunch.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun too. And of course, there were so many fascinating people who have lived in Ajijic. You know, I find a lot of times, especially in the United States, we tend to go visit friends that live far away from us, that have the same opinion that we have. And so this kind of creates an echo chamber, that we have the same opinion and we just reinforce the same opinion. Well, here at Lakeside, people come from all over. We have retired military, we have retired, corporate people, we have, retired, bush pilots,
Yeah,
authors, all kinds
there's
of.
a pro golfer here. He too. I talk with him quite a bit. I see him every day. He's always walking around. He's really slim. So athletes too. He's
Sure.
a real slim guy. I'll introduce you to him. Okay.
So that we're exposed to different opinions because we're friendly with the people who are around us, on different levels.
Yes.
And so that we're more likely to hear a difference of opinion, not only to understand them, but to understand more about where we're coming from. Because if you keep saying the same thing back and forth with you and your friends that agree with you, you tend to think that that's the truth and how everybody thinks.
Yeah. Opinions do count, different, and we don't get into controversies about those things. We just openly share,
A lot of people, they identify with a certain tribe, and that they they internalize the talking points of that tribe because they identify with belonging to that tribe. But if you try to talk to them and ask them why they feel that way or what facts they have to back up that opinion, sometimes they get annoyed with you because they have to realize themselves that they didn't actually form that opinion. They borrowed that opinion because it's the opinion of their tribe.
or their leader or something.
Well,
Maybe.
or, whatever tribe they identify with.
Okay.
I mean, that's how these groups try to keep the cohesion. Either you belong if you belong, you believe what we say we believe in, and if you don't, you're the other.
I understand completely.
Yeah.
I understand completely now. You were, when we were coming here, we were walking down the street, and we're on Hidalgo now.
Uh-huh.
You were pointing out that history of that bar.
Uh-huh.
It's quite big, and it's been demolished.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to put something else there, probably. You want to talk a little bit about that, the history of that bar?
Well, it's been there as much longer than I've been there, and it was a men's only bar. My husband tried to take our daughters in there, oh gosh, this must have been, 15 years ago, to go play some pool, and they said, no women allowed.
But things change.
No. Oh, no. It's been boarded up for years. It was totally a men's bar, and, with the billiard tables.
I know I saw the sign. What I'm saying, things have changed. Women can't go to bars more here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
The sign's still up there.
Oh, yeah, and when they tore it down, I saw the backhoe come and just, gobble it up. But the adobe walls are this thick
Yeah, you were
on
talking
there.
about it. Yeah.
So who knows that was built, because it's, you know, it's what, 2 doors from the police station, which is on the plaza. So
Now, I just also want to mention, Nancy owned a restaurant. You want to talk a little bit about that and how long ago that was?
well, let's see, it ended about 2-3 years ago. I had an Indian restaurant on the plaza for 8 years. My husband's in my profession was North Indian classical music, and when we came here, he got we picked this place particularly because we realized we had to be near a large population, because the number of people who are interested in a classical music, and especially a classical music that's foreign, is very small, you know. But we didn't want to live in the city. So when I found Lakeside, you know, because I actually researched this place in the early 90s.
Wow.
And I've been coming to Mexico since '75, and my husband since 1960. And we had never come to this particular area. I've been to Oaxaca and Puebla and, you know, Veracruz and, you know, Mexico City and, you know, San Miguel Allende.
Yeah, we were talking about San Miguel de Allende. I stayed there for 6 months.
Yeah.
And, you've been all around, and there was something I was going to ask you, but it escaped my mind because I'm listening to what you're saying here a lot. So please continue.
Okay. Let's see, what other things that I've seen different here in Ajijic since I've been here. Every week, you know, I see something new going up, you know, but the only chain, I think, store that we even have in this whole area is OXO. You know, and that's been very recent. So we've still been able to keep to local businesses and stuff like that. And I rarely leave town. I mean, I go to Hoko maybe once a year to pay the taxes on some property, and Chapala, you know, maybe 3 times a year for similar things. But I don't really feel any need to leave Ajijic at all. I can get everything I need here. You know, the quality of goods you can get, you know, I cook every day, so I have to have, you know, good quality ingredients available. But if I don't feel like cooking, you know, in some of these little towns, the best thing you can get is, you know, some enchiladas suizas.
What is Swiss?
With the cheese.
Okay.
You know, Swiss
Okay.
cheese. You know, it has a
Okay,
cheese sauce, you know, on top of it. You know, you know, and you know, I'm a little bit spoiled, you know, because we're coming from San Francisco, so the bar has to be pretty high. You know, here, the wonderful quality of the air. I couldn't live in Guadalajara. The pollution is so bad, you know. But the
My
air,
friend, another friend of mine says that too.
yeah, the air is fresh, like in San Francisco. The surroundings are beautiful, like in San Francisco. There's intelligent people that I could have a conversation with. There's the availability of English language books, of which I am an addict, especially ones that are out of print.
and tell us how many books you actually have.
I have about 4,000 books, and I have about as many LPs.
Oh my.
We have a classical LP collection that it used to be one of our hobbies when we had no money, that we would go out to garage sales, thrift stores, and, you know,
Yeah.
because my husband was one of the ones that could tell you within a couple of notes what that piece was, what it was originally written for, and everything. Yeah, so he was very good in Western classical music. He had started with, you know, clarinet and French horn, but he saw. Actually, he had lived in Mexico for 5 years during the '60s, and at one time when he went up in a visit to the States, he heard some Indian classical music on one of the first records that was out there, and he says, "God, they're doing something."
Yeah,
You know?
I
And he had to go and study seriously in Calcutta for 7 years.
Wow, wow.
That was before I met him. But but he was a master on two instruments, the tabla, the drums, and the sarod. And he studied with two masters who happened to be best friends and were pretty much instrumental in starting the modern era of North Indian classical music because up until 1947 it was court music. So you had to be somehow involved with the courts to be able to even hear this music. And the musicians were in the court, supported by the court, and had an educated audience. And
there are, there's a cultural centers here. I'm looking forward to the La Floresta Auditorium reopening. They're doing some construction there. When I first came here in September of 2019, I saw an excellent jazz band there in their auditorium there, and they also had a flamenco dancer that joined in. Do you know anything about the auditorium, when it's going to open or reopen?
I think it's going to be at least another year and a half. But if you like flamenco, the place to go is La Cochera Cultural. It's where the Ajijic clinic is.
Okay.
You go up and it's on the corner of, I think, the second block.
I've heard of that place. There's also jazz guitars there too.
Yes, and
that's what I'm really.
And the flamenco is excellent. They have, I think, monthly concerts, but you have to have a reservation. But these people that are doing that are also some of my husband's students, so I always get to go in for free.
Okay, I gotta go with you, but I'll pay.
About maybe 6 or 7 people actually moved from Monterey here to study with my husband, and then brought girlfriends, wives, and stuff like that. And of course, they stuck around here, and they have other interests like flamenco and jazz. And you've probably seen them playing around town.
Yeah, and I noticed in the Guadalajara Reporter in the events sections or happenings and stuff, they give us information like that. And I did see it. I said, wow, I missed that, because there's so much to do around here, but I missed that. But now also, geez, there's so many things I want to ask you about, because you're so knowledgeable of everything.
Maybe we'll have to make another video.
Yeah, that's coming up. That can come up another time for sure. I'd love that. I really would. Anything else you'd like to talk about? Film, dance, poetry. You've got such a broad range of interest and experience in many different things. Anything else you'd like to talk about? Famous authors or not so famous authors, or anyone like that you'd like to bring up real quick?
Well, we're planning on doing some cultural things here, my family and myself. I have to find a place to safely put my husband's collection. I have very rare recordings.
When you get over to my house, I got 2 bedrooms, I live alone, and one of the bedrooms is empty. We can put it there. No, I'm just kidding.
And one of my daughters is a professor of film, both documentary and genre film. So I have a property that I hope to be developing in the next couple of years to include that, a media center and a place for, showing film, improv, and also house my husband's collection so I can get it out of the house, all the 4,000 records, the LPs.
And your daughter's going to be doing, she's a professor of film. We were talking about San Miguel de Allende about a month ago when I first met you, about the film festival that goes on there, what was going on there. And I mentioned that I've worked on a production crew of a film. It was filmed in Detroit. But to meet your daughter, I mean, she's a doctorate, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's a doctorate and a professor. I'll be just quite privileged to meet her. I hope she comes and does that.
Oh, yeah.
And anything else? What did we talk about? Leonard Cohen, but you didn't talk too much about it. You said it. No, you know.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, we love him. There was actually a play going on here, one-man play about Hallelujah.
Oh.
I think I'm going off in too many tangents, but we talk a lot. We talk about everything under the sun. It's just so fun.
There's so much going on here. I mean, I have a daily routine. You know, I walk my dog at a certain time around the plaza, and so you know, I keep my daily routine, but I'm not dogmatic about it. You know, but every day is different. I'm never bored here.
Yeah.
I never have a reason really to go anywhere else. You know, I tell some people, well, when you're in paradise, why go cloud jumping? you know, and as you know, the Chinese philosopher once said, "Wherever you go, there you are."
Yeah, I heard that expression.
Yeah.
I didn't know it came from a Chinese philosopher though, but thank you. Anything else you'd like to say before we close, real quick?
I've never regretted moving here, not one instant. I feel safe, calm. I love the people that are around me, my neighbors, even the gringos that
Expats.
Expats.
We call it.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people find themselves here.
They surely do. And
Yeah.
I knew that when I was in San Miguel de Allende. People who never were artists, they came out to painting lessons. Lord, they would paint the cathedral, the big parochia there. And they took lessons, and they found out that they were actually very good artists. A lot of different things. Writers in San Miguel. There's a lot of books published. And there are some writers here too. Quite a few. So
Yeah. It's an interesting place because a lot of people think, oh, it's a retirement community, a bunch of people sitting around waiting to die. No. A lot of people are around here looking to live.
And we actually get better. We get healthier, a lot of us.
Oh yeah.
We ages quickly. It's a state of mind, too.
Definitely. Age is a set of mind for sure. And we were talking about it before, how a lot of people go, oh, I'm not going to tell you my age, as if that's going to make them automatically appear younger by not telling their age. But I say, embrace it. I'm 71 and a half years old. And I think the younger people need to see that older people aren't afraid of getting older, that we're actually getting better. We have a lot of experience that we've had that is worthwhile. And if the only older people they see are infirm, whether physically, mentally, or both, then what's the reason to take care of yourself? What they used to say, live fast, die young, and leave a good-looking corpse, right?
Oh, God.
But the fact is,
I know what you mean.
that there is life after 40, and it's great.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. I think, And you live quite a full life. You've lived quite a full life, and you continue to live quite a full life.
I'm planning on at least another 20, 30 years, so.
I think you're going to do it.
Yeah, I have the genetics for it, so all I got to do is watch when I cross the Carretera. Genetics don't help you there.
Okay,
here comes the band.
So we're going to close this video. Nancy, thank you so much for doing this interview. We're going to get you on another one.
Okay, Chris.
Okay, that would be very interesting. Thanks again, and have
All
a
right.
great day.
Ta-ta.